Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today is the day 37 for our Palo Alto firewall training series. In this video, I'm going to explain how NAT works in active-active failover. So in this video, I'm going to cover how exactly NAT works in active-active failover, how we can configure NAT in active-active failover, what are the troubleshooting steps that we need to follow, and also we'll do a Wireshark packet capture and see how the transition is happening from how primary firewall to the secondary active firewall, how exactly it goes. So in packet capture we'll see that, and also we'll test an application and see how the NAT reacts into it. So it will be very interesting to see. So I'll request you to please watch this video till the end so that you can understand these things and you can apply in your real-time environment, and you can use this knowledge in the interview as well. And also I'll request you to please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss a video from me. So without any further delay, let's get started. So friends, now we'll understand how NAT works in active-active failover. Okay, with the help of this diagram, we'll try and understand how it works. So friends, for this video, we are concentrating on SNAT. So in SNAT, we will be concentrating on PAT. So basically, this is used for the users which is sitting inside who wants to connect to internet. So basically, there will be one public IP address and there will be a lot of users. So maybe a /24 or maybe /16. Subnets will be there which get natted to one public IP address. Okay, so we'll focus on and then we'll try and understand with the help of this diagram now. Okay, so let me rub this off. So let's suppose this PC wants to connect to internet. Okay, so he will be following this path, right? So let's say this traffic reaches to Palo Alto 1, and then the NAT, the source NAT happens with the IP address, interface IP address of this device. Okay, and then it goes to internet. While coming, due to some issue, the traffic is coming to Palo Alto 2. Now how Palo Alto 2 deals with the traffic is, as we already know, there is a session owner, right? And there is a session setup. So now friends, I'll explain you how the flow is working over here. So basically what happens is, this PC will initiate the traffic, and for this one the source would be 172.35.2.3. okay, and destination is, let's say, public DNS, so 8.8.8.8. okay, now the traffic goes and reaches Palo Alto 1. okay, now Palo Alto 1, what does it do is, it will replace the source. How it will replace the source? He will replace the source with, let's say, 10.1.1.100, right? Maybe I'll just rub this off. Okay, and the destination will be 8.8.8.8. okay, the source has been changed right now, and also there will be a device ID also attached to it, device ID, which is, let's say, this for this 0. And also what it does is, it will do an inspection from L2 to L7, right? And then meanwhile that traffic also sent through HA3 link to PA2 as well. Now what PA2 does is, it will also create a NAT for this. He will not forward the traffic, as he is not a session owner, he is session setup. Okay, so now the source will be 10.1.1.100 and the destination is 8.8.8.8, and also device ID will also be attached to this. So device ID 0. Okay. Now, and also like as we have told last time, that it does from L2 to L4, so right, so it does a processing. After that the traffic also sent to Palo Alto 1, and Palo Alto 1 will forwards the traffic to internet. Now what happens is, while coming, something goes wrong over here. Now traffic reaches to Palo Alto 2. As we have this mapping, okay, and let's suppose there is some routing is there which actually sends the traffic over here, the device is okay. In that case, the traffic reaches to Palo Alto 2. As he has seen this mapping is in device ID 0, okay, this is the source and destination. He sends the traffic to Palo Alto 1, and Palo Alto 1 replies to this PC. Okay. So basically what happens is, the traffic goes here, the NAT happens here, the L2 to L7 processing happens, and then traffic goes here. From here also NAT entry will be there, then L2 to L4 processing will be there, then traffic comes back, it does the forwarding decision, it goes to internet, and it goes like this. But when it comes to Palo Alto 2, he sends the traffic to Palo Alto 1, and Palo Alto 1 forwards the traffic. But in case if this fails down, in that case he will accept the traffic and he forwards the traffic towards this PC. Okay, so both the devices will have the NAT entry. Okay, not one device, both the devices will have the NAT entry. Okay, so now friends, we'll see how to configure it, what is the troubleshooting steps, and we'll do packet capture now. So we'll get into the lab and we'll start off. Okay, so let me rub this out and we'll go to the diagram. So the diagram will be as same as my previous video diagram, and if it is very recommended that you see my last video. If you are not able to find it, you can just click on the I button, or maybe you can check the description box of this video as well. Okay, now in this I have done some little change. Okay, so right now the physical IP is this one. So Palo Alto 1 Ethernet 1x1 will have this 10 and 11, and there will be floating IP, 2 floating IP right now. So I'll explain you why it is during the practical time. And for internal it is same, there is no change as well. Okay, so now we'll go and access our Palo Alto devices. So the configuration will be same as what I have done in my previous video. There is no change in it, only I'll be adding some additional configuration which is required for NAT configuration. Okay, so let me go here and access my Palo Alto devices, both active and standby. So this is 3.1. Okay, now let me log into this. Okay, so it is getting logged in now, as this is the primary active device as of now. As you can see over here, active primary, and this is active secondary. Okay, so whatever changes we have to do it in active primary. Okay, so we'll go to device. Okay, and in high availability in active configuration. Okay, now we are adding a new floating IP. Why? Because there is a device ID which is attached to it. I'll tell you why it is so. Okay, so in this we have to define the priority. So whatever the priority, the lowest priority will be the highest value, I can say. So 0 and 255. So for this device, for this active device, 20 and 50 will be the primary floating IP address. Okay. And for 192.168.20.51 will be 255, which will be other device active floating IP address. Okay. So 50 will be the local active IP, and 51 will be the secondary active IP address. Okay. 0, 255 and 255. Okay. Now we'll do commit. So commit is already successful now. As you can see, the commit is completed successfully. Okay. Now we'll move on and we'll configure NAT policy over here. So there is a twist in configuring NAT policy over here. I'll show you how it is. Okay. So I just configure in out. Okay. Source will be inside, destination will be outside. As I am not in a production environment, so I'm not specifying any source and destination. I'm just saying inside to outside. So when you are configuring in your environment, I'll recommend you to please put the source and the destination. Okay. Now here we are doing dynamic IT like IP and port. So that is a PAT interface IP. Now interface will be ether 1 by 1, as we can see on this diagram. 1 by 1 is connected to internet. Okay. Here we are using floating IP address because that is an active IP address. As you can understand, physical IP address is not usable, as floating IP will be active, right? And as this is for primary, 50 will be active, right? So we'll use as a 50, and here the device binding will be 0. Why? Because I'll show you. If you go to device, you can see device ID 0 for local device, and for other device the device ID is 1. So what the policy is applies to this device, it is not applied to the secondary device. Okay. Now we'll create one more, out 1. Okay. The source will be inside, the destination will be outside, translated packet, dynamic port, interface 1 by 1, floating IP and floating IP 51, right? Here the device binding will be 1. Okay. So we have created two NAT policy, which is for device ID 1 as 0 and 1, right? So if this device goes down, this NAT rule works, or maybe when we do load balancing, both the devices will be NATing as per their floating IP address. Okay. Now we'll do commit. So once we do a commit, that rule also get replicated to other secondary device as well, right? So once that is done, we'll go and check for that. Okay, so we'll go here and we'll see the NAT policy. Yes, we can see it is happening. Okay, so this is how we can configure NAT. Now we'll test some application, and we'll do a failover and we'll see how it is working. Okay. So friends, now we'll do application testing for two. First one is AnyDesk. Okay. And second is Telnet. So what we are going to do is we'll do a Telnet from this PC to this router. Okay. So this is how the traffic flow will be, and we'll see once we fail over whether that connection is get replicated or the connection exists or it get closed. And also we'll do a packet capture as well. Okay, I'll show you how it is. So the first thing, we will be logging into the device and we'll check whether we have internet connection. We have internet connection, so any desk will work over here. So okay, so now connecting, so it is connected right now. And in our desktop we have any desk as well. Okay, so I'll be connecting with this IP, this number ID. Okay, so 871083715. Okay, 715. Okay, so yeah, I'll accept that connection. And now I supposed to see my screen over here. Okay, so now I can see my screen over here. Okay, in a desk. Okay, so from my screen I can see over here what is happening. And yeah, any desk is connected. Now I'll connect to this Palo Alto as well as this Palo Alto, both the Palo Alto through putty I'll be connecting it. So putty 192.168.202.130. Okay, admin. Okay, this is the primary device, and new session, that is 192.168.202.131, right? This will be the secondary device, admin. Okay, this is secondary device. Okay, now we'll see the session, what is happening right now. Okay, yeah. So session all. We can see there is a any desk. I'll just increase some more so that it should be visible for you guys. Yeah, and also over here, so session all, right? Now we can see there is a any desk that is connected right now. Okay, any desk, and here also any desk. As you see in active device, it is getting NATed to 192.168.20.50, which is device 0. Here also, if you see, it is 192.168.50.0. So session is already replicated from the active primary to active secondary, right? And the NAT table is also same as well. Now if I want to see the details of this particular session ID, so session ID match, because there are a lot of parameters will be there, HA. Okay, now you can see the session is updated by HA peer. No, it is locally. The session owner is true, and session setup is also true, because he is sending the other peer that please do the session setup as well. So this is also true. For this one, the session ID will be different. So session ID match, okay, session ID 323 match HA. Okay, now here you can see the session is updated by HA peer true, which was false over here, and session owner is false, and session local is false, because he has sent to update the session setup, right? So now we have seen how the session is replicated, and we can see the NAT table as well. Now we'll do a telnet from this device as well. Okay, so we'll do putty and we'll try to connect to our 192.168.20.55. Okay, maybe something goes wrong in this. Yeah, okay, enable configure line VTY login local transport input SSH and telnet transport. Actually input is required, not output, but I'm just configuring for some reason. Okay, so exit right, okay, do right, okay. Okay, so we are done with the configuration. Now we'll just configure the username, Cisco privilege level. We have to set privilege 15, password Cisco, right? And we'll do an exit and write it. Okay, so probably now we will be able to connect 192.168.20.55, right? Okay, not the SSH is not turned on, so we'll try to connect on telnet 192.168.20.55, right? So username is Cisco and password is also Cisco. So now we can see the connections on both the end, telnet connections. Yeah, we can see telnet over here, okay, as well as on 31 as well we should see telnet connection, okay, and the translation is on 2050, right? Now we'll start the packet capture on one by one, okay. Now what I am going to do is I will just turn this off. So now the Palo Alto one is stopped right now. Now we'll see some gratuitous ARP, okay, and we'll see whether the connection exists or not. So we'll go here and the connection is already there, and also on telnet connection we have connection over here as well. So the connection is not been dropped till now. And now we'll see what happens to this one, this NAT table, okay. Now it has become from secondary to primary, right, as you can see. Now if I want, I can just increase the fronts because there were two windows, so I was not able to do it, but now yeah. Now as you can see, it has become from secondary to primary, okay. Now session all. As you can see, the telnet is on 20.50 and any desk still the NAT translation is on 20 because the session was, the NAT session was already it has created that particular IP, like the session, during the session setup the IP was already over there. Now let's say if I initiate a new telnet connection towards that particular router, what exactly happens? So 192.168.2.0 2.2.55, sorry, 20.55, okay, on the telnet. Okay, so we have got Cisco and Cisco, okay, Cisco. Now we should see some connection. Now we can see another telnet connection, but right now the connection is on 51. So this means that the old connection will be on the old NAT IP address, but new connection will be on 51, like the new IP address, the active secondary IP address, okay. So this means, or this proves that it supports the asymmetric communication if you have active connections during the NAT configuration as well, okay. So this is what I wanted to show you guys in this video. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up what you have learned from this video. Please do a comment. If you have suggestion regarding my video, please do that in the comment section, or you can send me an email. Maybe you can send me message on Facebook or Instagram, wherever you want. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.